Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel where we dive deep into the fascinating world of coins, currency, and the hidden treasures that might just be sitting in your pocket right now. Today, we're taking a journey back in time to explore one of the most interesting and widely circulated coins in United States history, the 1974 Liberty 1-cent coin, also famously known as the Lincoln cent. Don't be fooled by its small size. This humble penny carries a rich story, significant history, and in some cases, surprising value. Could you have a rare one worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars? Stay tuned because by the end of this video, you'll know everything you need about the 1974 Liberty cent and why collectors still hunt for special versions of this coin today. Let's start with the basics. The 1974 Liberty 1-cent coin is part of the Lincoln cent series, first introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. It was the first U.S. coin to feature a real historical person, replacing the previous Indian head design. This iconic design was created by Victor David Brenner. On the obverse or front of the coin, we see a portrait of Abraham Lincoln facing right. Above his head is the word Liberty, to the left side is the year 1974, and to the right, depending on the mint, may be a small letter D for Denver, S for San Francisco, or nothing at all for Philadelphia. On the reverse side, until 1959, you would have seen two wheat stalks. That's why early versions are called wheat cents. But from 1959 to 2008, including 1974, the reverse features the Lincoln Memorial, a tribute to Lincoln's legacy in Washington, D.C. You'll notice the words United States of America e pluribus unum and 1 cent prominently displayed. Did you know that if you look closely at the memorial with a magnifying glass, you can see a tiny statue of Lincoln seated inside? That's how detailed the engraving really is. Now let's dive into the history surrounding the 1974 cent. The early 1970s were a turbulent time for the U.S. economy. Inflation was high, and copper prices were soaring. In fact, by 1973 and 1974, the cost of the metal used to make a penny was approaching or even exceeding the coin's face value. This economic strain led the U.S. Mint to begin experimenting with alternative metals for coin production. That's where things get interesting because 1974 is the year the Mint secretly tested aluminum pennies. That's right, in 1974. The U.S. Mint struck over 1.5 million experimental pennies made out of aluminum. These were never released into circulation, and most were melted down. Only a few escaped destruction, and these are now among the rarest and most controversial coins in American history. But we'll talk more about that special version in a moment. Let's focus on the coins the public actually used. The standard copper coins minted in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. In total, over 8 billion Lincoln cents were minted in 1974, making it one of the most heavily produced coins of that decade. Here's the breakdown by mint. Philadelphia Mint No Mint Mark 4,232,140,523 Denver Mint D Mint Mark 4,235,098,000 San Francisco Mint S Mint Mark Proof only 2,612, 568 because of such massive production. The regular copper 1974 penny is extremely common in circulation and was used by millions of Americans daily for decades. Most people simply overlook them. But for collectors, certain varieties and errors make this coin worth a second glance. So what should you look for? Here are some of the rarest and most desirable types of the 1974 Liberty Cent. 1974 aluminum penny. As mentioned earlier, this ultra-rare test coin was struck in aluminum. Only a handful are known to exist. Since they were never officially released, owning one is legally questionable, but they've sold at auction for over $250,000 when they appear. Double die obverse. Some 1974 cents show signs of doubling on the date, letters, or Lincoln's profile. These error coins are called double dies, and depending on severity and condition, can fetch between $50 to several $100s. Off-center strikes or broad strikes. If the coin wasn't properly aligned in the minting press, part of the design may be missing or shifted. These minting errors are loved by collectors and can range from $10 to $100 plus based on how dramatic the error is. Copper versus zinc transition. Though the official change to zinc planchets happened in 1982, some rare transitional test pieces exist. It's possible that planchets were tested as early as the mid-1970s. While this is not officially confirmed, any unusually light 1974 cent should be weighed and inspected. So, how much is a 1974 Liberty 1 cent worth if you find it in your change today? Let's talk about real-world, everyday value first. For the majority of 1974 Lincoln cents, especially those that are worn from circulation, the value is 1 cent. That's right, just a penny. These are extremely common, and billions are still floating around in drawers, piggy banks, and cash registers. However, for coins in uncirculated or mint condition, the value starts to rise. A bright red, shiny 1974 penny with no scratches and nowhere can sell for 10 cents to $1, just because of its collectible quality. If the coin is graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC and receives a high grade like MS65 or higher, it might fetch between $5 to $25 depending on the mint mark and condition. Now let's dive into the current market values. What collectors are paying today for the best examples of the 1974 Liberty Cent. Yes, you've heard that right, a regular 1974 penny in superb condition with bright red luster can fetch several $100s at auction. And if you're lucky enough to find a mint error, or even a rumored aluminum test coin, you might be sitting on a jackpot. Before we wrap up, here are a few tips if you want to check your change for valuable 1974 cents. Always inspect the coin's color. Redder is better. Check the mint mark. B and S coins can have premium value. Look for doubling on the date or letters. Weigh the coin. A normal 1974 cent should weigh 3.11 grams. Anything significantly lighter may be special. Use a magnifier or loupe to spot tiny details or errors. So there you have it, the complete story of the 1974 Liberty 1 cent coin. A piece of American history, struck during an era of change, inflation, and experimentation. While most of these pennies are worth face value, certain varieties, errors, and pristine specimens can bring in serious money. If you learned something new today or enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and click that bell icon so you never miss a coin treasure tip. Got a cool penny in your collection? Drop a comment below, we'd love to hear about it. And remember, treasure can be small. Sometimes it's hiding in the palm of your hand.